you, Mr. Guy Louis.
Yeah.
A legend on these parts.
My name is Guy Louis Jr.
So you do carvings,
Yep.
paintings,
Yep.
drumming, singing. Which tribe do you come from?
Ahousaht. Ahousaht is part of Nuu-chah-nulth Nation. Nuu-chah-nulth consists of 14 tribes, which run from up the coast from Cayucet, which is just outside of Fair Harbor, all the way down to Nia Bay in the States. Nia Bay is part of Nuu-chah-nulth. And, of course, the U.S. border separated us. So they've picked up their American ways.
Yeah.
But they're still Nuu-chah-nulth. They're still potlatch. I've always had a knack for art since about grade 4, but I haven't been fully immersed in it until like 4 years ago. My mentor was Master Carver Moy Sutherland Jr., and I was with him for about 2 years. One of the projects through mentorship was making masks, and like he showed me where to cut out of a log, like section we want. How do we get the start of the shape going, where we make our cuts, he calls blocking, and he would carve one half and I would carve the other half. So it's a really great way to learn when you got a master carver showing you how to do it, and then you have something to look at. And the masks represent many things, and one of those is like, for example, a portrait mask might come from a chief and somebody wanting to remember them. So it gets the artist to do a portrait mask of that, so it could be forever remembered. This particular piece I'm working on right now is for an art gallery in Vancouver called Coastal Peoples. And he had made a specific order for a frontal view of an eagle. And this form line, as I learned from my mentor, was developed by his mentors. This is, there's a lot attached to this, for sure. It's made out of red abalone, which you could only find in Northern California, the Pomo Nation. And I was connected with a buddy from there who lives in Tulalip. His name is Mike Frias, otherwise known as Big Mike. And he was drawn to me because of my dance that I have. It's a bear dance. And bear people attract him, and he came to introduce himself. And just the other year, I went and took one of my paddles down that had a abalone inlay in it, and he was wondering what kind of abalone it was. So he said, look, I got this abalone. He took his off. He said, this one's for you. And one of the trades I have for him right now is a little bear mask that's going to be a pendant for him. It's like it's a big bear mask, and that's one of the trade-offs that we have. And I've been working on it and praying on it so that when he receives it, he can utilize those prayers and good energy that was put into it. And that's one of the things about working with art, is to put good feelings into it as it can spread it to whose ever home it goes to, and whoever, looks at it or even touches it. That's how I look at things in anything in my life. When I'm cooking, I don't like to cook when I'm in a bad mood. Everybody enjoys my food, and it's because I put love into everything I do. So, we call it Northwest Coast style art, the form line, and I sell to the higher end galleries on the mainland in Vancouver. 3 in particular, the Coastal Peoples, Douglas Reynolds, and Inuit Gallery. And then there's another gallery in Seattle called Steinbrook, and one other gallery, another Inuit gallery in Montreal.
Across Canada.
Yeah. I've had a piece go all the way to France, that, and they found me on Facebook. They're like, yeah, we bought this. It was a really good feeling to know that someone can appreciate it that much.
From the other side of the world.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be here without my mentors and all the people that appreciate it, and all the people that, supported me. So you always got to give you a shout out to everything. Like, somebody harvested it. Somebody went to go logging. Somebody put the paint together. I always keep things like that in mind. It's a collaborative of everything, even in terms of singing. Like, when I started singing just about 30 years ago, I wouldn't be where I am today without everybody that supported me, all the guys that sing with me, my parents especially, who were a good financial support to me in my early days of singing, who would basically fund me to go travel to potlatches and so that I could just live a different life that they couldn't. So in turn, I wanted to give opportunity to the younger generation that live in an urban place to be able to have access to culture and be able to learn directly from somebody who's done the time. That comes into leadership. There's leadership comes with a lot of responsibilities, and one of them is you have to do the time to be a good leader. You have to put in the time. You have to have some natural gifts, like bringing good energy to a room, no matter where you go, what it is, and being able to set aside connections. Like if a issue comes up in a group, you can't be like, oh well, that's my sister, I'll back my sister up more, or, that's my grandma, don't mess around with my grandma. You gotta set those difference aside and find a solution where they're both happy. Being calm is another thing. Being calm is a huge asset when it comes to leadership. So the name of our group has many years ago, we don't use it too often, but it's Hishinkwas New Channels. And that just means new channels coming together in the Greater Victoria area, which is the traditional territories of Lekwungen and West Saanich. But that's the name that we used for years. Otherwise, people just call us the Victoria Group. We've been getting together every Monday for just about 30 years. Every Monday.
Hold on. Did you say 30 years?
Yeah, just about.
Every Monday?
Yeah.
Almost every month?
Yeah.
That's an incredible achievement and commitment alone. I mean, to facilitate that, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, a collaborative way of life. I started off singing with my uncles, and they weren't as motivated or passionate about singing quite like I was. I wanted to sing all the time. I was calling them like, do you want to sing again? Oh, no, I don't feel like singing. Oh, all right. So I found myself singing by myself, and I was thinking I need to sing with somebody. So the only person I could think of is Calvin, who we've been really close since grade 3. And I called him up and I said, yo, I got a tape of some Indian songs. If you learn them, you want to sing? He said, sure. So I went and brought him the tape, and the next day he came over and he was singing with me, and we've been doing it ever since. And he was the one that contacted Fernwood Community Center, which is where we started our practices. And they took us in as a program as long as we opened it up to the community. So that's where we got started. We went from there. Yeah. All the other people that attend make it happen for us. Where people talk about colonized, I'm not so sensitive about it. I'm more grateful for things that, like the house we live in, the car that I drive, the tools that make things easier for me is awesome. I'd say that's all ties into our artwork, because our people didn't have a written language. It was always through songs and artwork. And that's why artwork is on the longhouses, on our clothes. It represents who we are. So that's where crests come from. Yeah, and that shows what families, the songs that we use, what families we come from, what chief's house we belong to. All of that is a huge part of our people, language and arts. About it, and being a good father, being the best father I can be to my kids, showing them a way that I had to learn through the years, breaking cycles kind of thing. I've been sober for just about 13 years, and we're all creating safe places for our kids now and breaking that cycle of alcoholism and what some people might call res life. Because I've been there, I lived there. That was one of the things that a big issue amongst our people is the alcohol, that our children get the bad end of the stick. That's one thing that we want to change, is create a safe place for our children. And sharing knowledge to our young ones is the best thing that we can do.
Because they are the future.
Definitely.
Thank you for coming by, Iggy Sanchez. We really appreciate this.
It's my honor to be here. I am a very grateful, welcome guest on these unceded territories of Lekwungen speaking people. Beginning right here, and I'm pointing over here because just down that way is the Inner Harbor. In Lekwungen villages that were situated where the Inner Harbor now exists, That's why the Inner Harbor, you'll notice if you come down during spring or summer, that will be members of the local First Nations selling their arts and goods. I want to name how significant this place is, especially for Indigenous sovereignty and the revitalization of Indigenous culture, the revitalization of Indigenous language, the resurrection of land-based practices. Very fortunate to have been brought in as an adopted daughter to the Sam family of the houses, which are the New Chalmers people who live along the coastal mountains, is what the name New Chalmers means. So it's very important to me to acknowledge my privilege as an Indigenous person who comes from Central America, and that unlike 6 of my brothers and sisters who still reside in El Salvador, I got the privilege to come here and to be raised here by this beautiful land and be welcomed by these beautiful people. And it's with a great deal of pride that I acknowledge that I am a welcome guest on these territories under the auspices of Bill Underwood, who is a hereditary chief for the Underwood family. Now, I'm going to shift gears a little bit and speak to the Victoria that I know and the place that I love and the place that I'm profoundly committed to, because it has the oldest Chinatown in Canada. It has a history of receiving wave after wave of immigrants, whether they were Haitian, whether they were Syrian, whether they were from Bulgaria, from Central America, like myself. The Victoria that I come from, and the place that I love, and the people who I love, and what it means to be a displaced Indigenous person. And so coming to Canada, I'm very fortunate, unlike the rest of my brothers and sisters, to have a Canadian mother. So I have the privilege of being able to leave my paternal homelands. And for that reason, I've been able to grow up here as a guest on these territories. And when we came, I was received here not far away from where we sit right now, at Matrena Keaton Co-op. And Matrena Keaton was a co-op that was created to house refugees, because at that time, in countries like Chile, in countries like Haiti, in countries like Jamaica, people were being forcibly subject to profound violence. History of this place has been one of incredible diversity of multiculturalism, and even the place that we sit in here today, belongs to a close friend, Natalie Justin, who has created a beacon of culture, of food, of love, of an opportunity for us to gather as community. And it's really up to us, the ones who remember. And I think that that's why it's so important that we do projects like this to remember our history, that this has been a Black, Brown, Chinese, Indigenous land for a very long time. And so I really hope that it will be through those teachings and through that commitment to rainbow coalition building that we are able to revitalize and reclaim this place as a rightfully should be, which is a place that is about the inclusion of everyone and does have a profoundly rich and revolutionary history. Regardless of what things may appear to be on the surface, this spot that we're in right now, this restaurant Stir It Up, is a revolutionary place. It's a revolutionary hub. This place has been hard fought for and received so many different members of our community in a multitude of different ways. And it's only the beginning of the work that my sister and friend Natalie does. Myself, I'm the founder and director of Decolonize Together, which is a collective of Indigenous and Black women and Two-Spirit individuals who educate about anti-racism, who educate about decolonization, and who do as much work as we possibly can for the community in hosting events, hosting opportunities for culture, whether it's music festivals, whether it's, panels and film festivals and things like that, to bring this community together, who I am forever indebted to, because they received me as a young child when I was fleeing a war-torn reality. But, other than different academic work that I'm doing, like finishing my PhD at the moment, or working, in arts and culture, or just working to create meaningful opportunities for ceremony and for women of color to gather and build community. Um, it's really about more than anything, I believe, in this city, creating spaces where people can see themselves represented. It is difficult for people of color in this city because other than Stir It Up, where we sit right here, there are not many places you can go and know that you will not be in the minority as a person of color. There are not many places that you can go and know that you're going to feel safe and accepted. There are not many places that you can go where you don't have to be prepared for different types of racial profiling. And I see that as someone with profound amount of passing privilege. Uh, and, the family that I grew up with, growing up in a co-op for refugees, my family doesn't get to have that same privilege in this town, and I'm so committed to seeing that change in terms of these types of initiatives like history telling, storytelling, building community, connecting with one another. And so I think more than anything in my heart, what I hope to see through is to build deeper and deeper fabrics, not just of community as needed, not just as community for I don't know more or shut down Canada or Black Lives Matter, but community for community's sake that is ongoing and continuous, because we really do need one another, and especially when it comes to the inaccessibility of housing, uh, the lack of kind of egalitarian access to work.
Where do you see the art of the Indigenous community and the Black community, and just the art of all races? Because I mean, it is very therapeutic. It can be very therapeutic and healing to one's soul.
Art saves lives. Art saves lives. And it was Louis Brielle who said, "My people will sleep for 100 years, and when they awake, it will be the artists who give them their spirit back." But when it comes to the spark that keeps those flames of radical and revolutionary visions alive, art has everything to do with it. And art has everything to do with what gets us through our hardest moment, what brings us together in celebration. And our movements are not sustainable unless they are rooted in joy, unless they are rooted in love. And that's what art can do, is it can really unify us in those ways. So remembering our shared ancestors who come before us that allowed us to be where we are today, to fight for the things that we are today, to have the access that we have today, and to celebrate those people in whether it's murals, whether it's in music, whether it's in spaces that we hold, in their dedication and their name. And that's why the role of storytellers is so important. I think that's what's so beautiful about these movements is there's not only room for everyone, there's necessity for everyone. And there's necessity, not only for the folks from our marginalized and, kind of communities that have been written out of history, but we need our allies as well. And so this is why I believe it's so important that Canadians know their own history, to represent a forward momentum and a forward reality that we can feel proud of, that we can, as Abuelos goes, our cookums and wishums, be really, really proud to have left for our young ones. I think that's what's so beautiful, is that it has to be about love. And it has to be about not just for me, not just for my family. If I want to see my family thrive, if I want to see the ones that I love thrive, then I have to be invested in making a world that is healthy and healed for them to emerge into. And so I really appreciate the work of you as a storyteller. I appreciate the work of my sister here as someone who feeds our community and brings people together. I appreciate the work of the musical artists, the visual artists, because we all play a role. We need one another. But it's so important that we do learn that very recent history, and we learn about our own individual histories too, so we know what gifts we have to come and bring to this movement.
Your knowledge is vast when it comes to these things, and I think that's kind of why you are one of our community leaders, and you're out there getting it for the rest of us and paving the way, so that all of us can have a better future, and we greatly appreciate that.
Justin, it's a pleasure for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. My name is Natalie Justin. Here I am in Victoria and happy to be here. I'm trying to create a place of sanctuary for people that want to be seen and heard, that haven't had maybe the opportunity before, to also hear the voices and our experiences that we are showing up with our artwork, whether it be through music or through food or just even having my door open. I never know when someone will come in, and it might even not be the angel for me, but it's an angel that I can pass on. And that's even more important than even serving food, where I can connect someone with somebody else that actually needs something a little bit more than me. And to me, that's pretty dope to have the connection and have that hub, so that it's not just about me. It's not just about the food, but it's the capacity to connect people with things that they need when they need it at the right time.
How long has Stirred Up been open for?
Stirred Up has been open for 19 years. I'm hoping to provide a space that people feel comfortable, that they can come through and feel like they're seen and heard. This is Alex Morrill. He is local. And what I really love about Alex is he's so bold and he's so vibrant, not just with his artwork, but with his words and just the way he shows up with integrity. I learn a lot from him to be integral with my word and with the people that I accept in my door. And it's very important to me that that's a lesson that I've learned from him, that everyone that comes in my door, I know they have a mission, but it's a mission of exchange, and integrity is the first word when you come in this door. What do you want? What does that look like? How do I show up for that? But how are we being honest? And I think his work is honest, and everyone that comes through my door has to be honest. My food has to be honest. I can't go against the grain of something that I know or doesn't fit with Ramadan or your mores. I will not serve that to you, because that's a level of integrity. And that's from the time you come in my door. I have halal meat. It's very integral to me that I meet you at where you're at. I would like to give them respect, even if it's not returned, but they have to see that I'm showing up for that capacity. I work with IDPAD, which is the International Decade of People of African Descent, which is connected to City of Victoria. I also work with CREAN, which is a research entity. And what we're trying to do is really just balance the people that come here that need accessibility, that are BIPOC, and also not BIPOC, but need to be reassured that they have a place here. So, if you need some assistance, but also your needs are different if you're a person of color, that you also are visually impaired, that's twofold. And to know that there's some kind of capacity there, that you're not alone, is important. So I'm looking at how do we see ourselves to the next step in our lives, because we're not young forever, but what does that look like? To me, this is a sanctuary, and I would like to see what that looks like. A lot of with my cousin, Clean Heart Youth, Judah Roots. We've been doing parties for the last 13 years, which is like also the extension of, having a good time and bringing music to the people. So we've been doing that for a long time. And he's one of my favorite people as well. So it's always dope when we get to collaborate. So, there's that entity where we do events.
And so I came to see him and listen for a while. And there he was, this young boy, a stranger to my eyes, strumming my pain with his fingers.
One time.
Singing my life with his words.
Two times.
Killing me softly with his song. Killing me softly with his song. Telling my whole life with his words. Killing me softly with his song.